Well, Conor was 24. He had just turned 24. On May the 9th, 2019, at Camp Pendleton, California, the Marine base on the coast, he was a troop commander of a group of light armoured vehicles, like small tanks. And at 9 a.m. California time that day, the tragedy occurred. What happened was he was on manoeuvres, pretending to be near an Iraqi or Afghan village they had constructed. He went off-road to go further down so he wouldn't be seen. That was the point. And unbeknown to him, there was a massive crevasse where he and his convoy were driving. There was no indication of it, but the range reconnaissance people should have known there was this massive hole. And basically, Conor was worried. He's a smart guy. He had slowed the armoured car down to 3 to 4 miles an hour, which is crawling. And suddenly it started to dip and he yelled out, "Roll over, roll over." That's the warning. And what you have to do is starfish, put your hands up, your feet out, so you're going to roll. Because you can have traumatic brain injury, not just get killed. And it just flipped over and he was instantly dead. So we were just devastated when the Marine Lieutenant Colonel Captain arrived in full uniform at the door, and I knew. And I just said, "Please just tell me he's wounded." And they said, "No, sir, I'm sorry." So we were gobsmacked when we flew immediately to California to be with Conor's fiancée. That was our main concern, that she not be told until we got there. And so we were in shock. And I am a journalist, so my instinct was to say, I thought, well, here we are. Training is very high risk in the Marine Corps or anywhere. So he was a soldier, but to lose him in training? And so I Googled rollover, which is the rolling over of an armoured car or a tank or a Humvee or a Bradley fighting vehicle. And suddenly, after a day or two, I started to see, I thought, good Lord, there seems to be a pattern of these rollover deaths. And a young Marine raider, the father of a newborn, tragically, he had been killed a month before at Pendleton. And then I started to go back a bit and I saw all these other young people. I started to think there's something strange here. This does not add up. This doesn't make sense. And I'm a former research fellow at think tanks and so on. And what we needed, I realized in the first month, we needed a government accountability office inquiry. You can't always get them. The GAO is independent of the Congress. You have to get a committee chair or subcommittee chair of the House, not the Senate, to request the GAO. We met with the GAO. And we met 2 committee chairs, Congressman Garamendi of California, Anthony Brown of Maryland, who's the vice chair of the whole House Armed Services Committee. They were terrific. They requested it. The GAO were impressed with our research and they said, okay, we're going to do it. And I said, please don't do it just on Conor. This is about all the other young men and women who are dying, and they're continuing to die. And I said, and don't just do a year. Can you go back a decade? Look at all the statistics, do site visits. Yes, we'll do it. So they are about to report to the Congress and the public at the end of June. And it's taken a long time, but they're doing it seriously, and we're in touch with them regularly. Our objective is actually to strengthen the Marine Corps and the Army and the Navy and the Air Force, to lower deaths. And to be quite brutal about it, deaths cost a lot of money. Because you're investing in officers and young men, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and these things continue to happen. And so can you reduce the death toll? Yes, you can, and I can tell you how. The worst case in the Marine Corps in the past 2 years was not a rollover, it was the amphibious assault vehicle in which 9 kids, 8 Marines and a Navy corpsman were killed on July 30th of last year in the ocean off Pendleton. The vehicle was 36 years old. It had broken down on San Clemente Island. They still took it out into the deep ocean, and it started to take on water. And the thing is crammed with these young guys with bulletproof Kevlar vests, backpacks, their rifles. They can hardly move. The vehicle lights inside, it didn't work, so it's pitch black. They're in the ocean going up and down, and the water's flooding into their ankles, and that's when you know you've got to get out. But how do you get out? They couldn't get one of the hatches open. They had to get a hammer. I mean, so 9 of them did not get out, and they sank to the bottom of the ocean, and they died a horrible death. Completely preventable. You'll have the GAO report with recommendations on safety. It's gone to the Pentagon already. They will have an input into it. And so we'll be looking at the recommendations on safety reforms, which we've talked about a minute ago. Then the National Defence Authorization Act, which is the Pentagon budget, is being finished between now and the end of the annual process. So the Congress can put into the legislation carefully drafted instructions on adding safety features, on reporting back to the Congress that they've been done, because the Marine Corps or the Army or the Navy saying, we've got this, that's not going to work anymore.